Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. I want to take a moment before I turn things over to the team captain to just thank the team for their work. We had a couple of people from Minnesota, but then we also had one from Texas and one from some strange exotic place called Wisconsin, who served on the team for us here. You can go ahead and lock the doors. So I want to thank them for taking the time to be away from their families, be away from their ministries, to help us to understand what's going well here and also what we can do to make things better as far as our ministry is concerned, to serve students and families and to share the gospel. So thank you very much for your work. I'll turn things over to Ben and let him talk.
Thank you, Mark. For those of you who've been through this process before, this is just a synopsis of the full report that we'll be getting. Mark has received a copy of that today, and these are just going to be some of the highlights. So just to introduce our group, my name is Ben Washburn. I serve as the principal over at Peace in Hartford. We had on our staff Pat Courtwright, who serves at one of the Divine Savior campuses in Texas. We have Mitch Giovannetti, Giovanatone, who's up in Coon Rapids. We just called him Mitch. Kyle Syme, who's over in Caledonia, and then Kim Schauer, who is from RCLS here in town. Overall, our focus was really to evaluate your self-study. So all the work that you guys did in looking through the standards, we were here to verify and confirm and make some recommendations based on that. And from that, self-study is divided up into 15 different standards, and we're going to share with you some of the key commendations, some of the things that you can celebrate and items for praise, but also some of the recommendations that we would have for you to improve the ministry here as well. But we want to say first, thank you to all of you. We know that a considerable amount of time and effort goes into preparing that self-study in the months that lead up to the visit, and then including during the visit as well. We know that a lot of work happened while we were here, and we want to commend you for the work that was done. And so what we'll do is we will walk through the 15 different standards here, providing some of the highlights here, and the individuals who are kind of responsible for review will speak to those. So standard one is all about the ministry and mission, and we want to first commend you organized ministry advancement plan. I thought that set a really nice stage for the ministry that was working here. And just one recommendation for standard one, and is one that we concurred with the findings from the self-study that was done, and that was to rephrase the "we believe" section of the handbook to be a little bit more welcoming for the unchurched in the community. In standard two, I'm going to turn over to Pat, who's going to have the next couple.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm going to cover standards 2 through 5, and a lot of these deal with kind of relationships that we have with different people. So the first one is the school's relationship with the congregation. Noted, and we appreciated seeing your guys' your harvest strategy. Just a ton of different events on how you guys, and you noted the building of relationships over time with your school families and connecting those with church families. And so that was one that we thought was done really well. An area of, like, a recommendation for future, folks is looking at how we can continue to involve our congregation members with these evangelism efforts. So know the staff is doing a lot. Now, how can we be partnering with our parents who are members and also just congregational members in the functions that are going on through school to help further build those relationships. The next standard 3, is really the school-home relationship. And so this one, you guys have an incredible amount of opportunities for your families to be involved with events at school. And just looking at one of your most recent newsletters, it was just like, holy cow, there's a lot of reasons for people to come, even from just chapel to faith night, which was Wednesday, just all these different ways they're connecting with and inviting people when they can come and volunteer and just participate in these things. Something to continue to work on is, we've heard this from parents and also through surveys and through interviews, is just kind of streamlining and have one communication plan. So maybe we know where it's going to come from, when it's going to be delivered, and things like that. Rather than there's so much different ways it's being communicated, well, how can we kind of organize these? And then standard 4, so the relationship with students. It's just being in your classrooms, walking around your hallways, guys. It's clear that this is a real strength of this staff and this school. It's the parents, like everyone said it, this is what we love, is what you guys are pouring into your kids every day. So there is no recommendation for that. So really strong. All right.
As Jesus was meeting with his disciples, as he knew his time was short with them, as he was about to ascend into heaven, he gave them the responsibility to be his witnesses, not only in Jerusalem, but in Judea, Samaria, and ultimately to the ends of the earth. Just like Jesus gave his disciples that command, he gives that command and responsibility to me and to you as well. You are the vessel, the arm that reaches out into the Rochester community and into surrounding areas. So Standard 5 was all about your relationship with your community and how you present your. There were lots of wonderful things happening here at Resurrection as you reach out and branch out into. Notice that we want to commend you for is the work you've done with Dana Kirchhoff, that you have done in marketing yourselves to your community, especially with regards to your website. Through your website, it was very easy to access. It was in a wonderful format that was easy to read and is a good reach out tool for your community. So thank you for that. As you continue to think about reaching out into your community, a recommendation the visiting team has for you is to continue to investigate ways that you can, as a faculty and a staff, reach out and get involved in community efforts and activities. We noticed a lot of really great things as you are starting to do that, but continue to research and look for ways how you can partner and network within the community. Standard 6, the school's relationship with the Wells. A very simple one here. Thank you for being Wells, and continue to be Wells. Moving on to Standard 7. The school's plan for enrolling students. So we took a look at everything that you do to really draw people into your building and minister to the needs that you have. A commendation we have for you is your enrollment requirements and process was very clearly articulated and laid out in your parent-student handbook. And it aligns with your mission vision and the Greater Wells mission as well. So thank you for that, and God's blessings as you continue to draw students into your building. A recommendation as you move forward, the visiting team recommends that you develop a written plan for reaching out to families whose children are not enrolled at school here, but are part of your church and area churches. Continue to partner with those churches within your church to reach as many souls as you can and bring them into your Christian education as well. Standard 8.
Nice. So another area I focused on was school climate. And again, it's very similar to the other areas that I was focused on, but we have two commendations for this one. the amount of activities and the variety that you guys have that really helps build the school climate. One that we talked about were your RAM pods, which we were really impressed with that, and being able to see that today was really exciting. And then also another one that I thought was really cool, but that your parents commented on, was your use of survey and your just how open you are with that and sharing the results, acting upon it, which was a number of people commented on that. Like, that's really impressive that, okay, you hear us, and then you're finding ways to implement things, and then you're actually doing it. That builds a lot of trust with parents. And that was it. And now I'm done. Thank you, guys.
Let's not skip over that too quickly. I've led a number of these visits. It's kind of unheard of not to have recommendations for standards 3 and 8 that deal with the relationships of the students and school climate. So take that really as a good thing that you guys are doing. Standard 9 dealt with school governance and administration, so what your board is doing and what your people are doing to lead the school, and some commendations. First of all, what came out in the surveys, what came out in talking with you guys and talking with parents is everybody's appreciation for Mr. Renner as an example of servant leadership among the school. The nodding heads here would seem to agree with that. We were also impressed with the daily devotion videos that are done and shared with the student body. I know a couple of us leaders thought that that's an idea that we're going to steal and take back to our school. Some recommendations. First, as we seek to, partner with the families in the church, is to develop a job description for a school pastor. And then secondly, some of you noted this in your interviews as well, an opportunity for the principal to delegate some things and not take so many things on his plate. And if you guys can teach him how to say no, good luck. 10 deals with the professional personnel, or just the staff in the school. And so a commendation here, again, is the staff. Time and time again, this is the information that came to us about what people appreciate is how dedicated the staff is here and the wonderful work that they do. And then a recommendation that comes from is just for all full-time teachers to look into that culture in the state of Minnesota. And then standard 11.
Thank you. You'll notice that a couple of us only come up and present with you guys a couple times here. Part of that is because a couple of these are rather large and take some time. Curriculum is one of them. Most people would be like, I don't want to be on that one. I admitted to someone out there, I'm kind of a policy nerd, so I don't mind sitting and reading stuff like this. My wife would agree, so it's okay. You can laugh. Go ahead. Curriculum, Standard 11. First, commendation, and take this seriously. I'm like a lot of you guys. I know principal says it's curriculum day. We're going to sit down in faculty meeting and talk about it after a long day of work, and you're going, okay. You honestly should be commended for the work that you have done on your curriculum, your written curriculum plan. They're clear, they're concise, they're easy to read, they're not overbearing, so they're very well written and well done. So you should be commended for that work. 2 recommendations, I listed 2 of them here. Ooh, that's far away, I can't read that. The visiting team recommends including a variety of assessments that measure student growth for all content areas, specifically the language arts one. There were some spots in that one missing. That's kind of an overarching maybe recommendation for all of them in the future. And we'll get to that with the second recommendation. We would recommend including an outline that demonstrates the use of student performance and assessment in guiding curriculum. So you write this curriculum, you go take tests and map scores and stuff like that. And what we want to see is you using that to then go back the second time you look at that curriculum and say, notice we're short in here, we need to fix this up. We're using that data to drive the next time you fix this up. So really these 2 are kind of related, but then they're also going to spill into standard number 12. So it's bringing that all full circle we have this on paper, we test for it, and then we can make changes because we've got data-driven resources and data points, and just a variety of them. You know, my school specifically, and something I'm working on, we rely on map tests a lot, but that's one data point. You want a variety of data points. So that's really what these two recommendations are speaking to. But again, overall, you should be commended for your work and dedication to your curriculum.
All right, and standard 12, instruction, is the other large standard that was being referred to. It kind of takes the work in curriculum that you've done and then looks at how it's implemented in your classrooms and with your instruction. So first of all, for commendations, we've heard this from several of the team members, and we heard this over and over in our conversations with your stakeholders about the appreciation that they have for the staff and your dedication to excellence. And so we just wanted to commend also your commitment, your clear commitment to biblically sound teaching and strong doctrine. That was clear in our observations of religion classes and chapel. And then, yeah, just the overall instruction was observed to be a strength of your school. And for our recommendation for this standard, just as you look to call teachers in the future, that you would possibly consider adding a technology coordinator to kind of flesh out that technology curriculum that you have in place, but then that could be added to your programming and to your instruction. So overall, very nice.
Standard 13 is on student services. While this standard may not be as large as 11 and 12, it had many different components to it, broken down into 4 sections that had to deal with student safety, student health, different activities offered, and then food regulations as well. So as we're taking a look at that standard, it was evident as we were walking around, observing, looking at the evidence and artifacts you provided, that you provide a variety of opportunities for student participation in activities. How cool is it that you have archery for through 8? That's so cool. So we were very impressed by the number of opportunities you of all ages to participate in school-related activities. So thank you for that. A recommendation for the future, as you are taking a look at what you can continue to do for school safety and policies, the visiting team recommends that you include procedures, step-by-step procedures in your crisis response plan for blood-borne pathogen transmission, also regarding child abuse and allegations of that, and then student counseling as well.
All right, I've got 14 and 15, and then we'll wrap up with the overall recommendation. So in 14, we're talking about the facility, and the one commendation that we have is that it's evident that you have a clean, well-maintained facility. And then a recommendation for that is that we know that there's some plans for growth in the ministry here, and just developing a long-range facility plan as that growth happens to manage all of that, the ways that God is going to bless you guys in the future. 15 is information management, and one commendation here is that the administrative assistant does an excellent job of keeping the school information and the school organized. I know at my school, when she's sick and not in the office, the school just doesn't function the same way. And then a recommendation is that one of the things that you guys noted on your end is that there are some financial policies that are still in development, and we would encourage you to finalize those things. So overall recommendation is on the next slides here in just a second, but we'll talk about what happens next. So what happens next is Principal Renner has a copy of that full report. And so you'll take all of the recommendations in that report, and you'll put that into your next school improvement plan, which will span the next 5 years, about 5 or 6 years. And then you'll submit that to Synod, and then you'll report on your annual progress year after year until this process happens again in 6 years. And so we hope that our overall recommendations become a blessing for you and your ministry here. And so there were 240 standards. We noted that 213 of them were fully met. 27 of them were partially not met. There are 47 starred or required standards, so that if you don't meet one of those, you can't be fully accredited. You met them all. And so we are making a recommendation for full accreditation to our WELSA body on behalf of the ministry here. So give yourselves a round of applause. And finally, just a thank you from our team to you guys. You really made us feel at home here the last few days. We enjoyed getting to know you. We enjoyed being in Rochester and enjoying the community. And we just want to say thanks for everything that you have done and wish you God's blessings as you take the work that we did here. And blessed to be a small part of the way that God might just bless your ministry in the coming years.
Thank you very much for being here. Thank you once again, team members, for all of your work, everything that you did for us here. Safe travels as you return back home. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you for coming. Have a blessed evening.